läuft. Ja. Hey guys, it's me Ole, and I'm back with another video. And as I said, I'll do a video a week. So this is video number 2 since the restart of this channel. And I found something very special today in my apartment. And it's this. I did not only find my trusty BlackBerry Classic that I used for so many months and years, and that I actually started this channel with, about BlackBerry. And I also found this, the BlackBerry Key 2, which was the last real phone BlackBerry ever produced or released and sold. And also I posted a Instagram story about the BlackBerry Classic and the BlackBerry Key 2. So if you don't follow me on Instagram yet, make sure you follow me on Instagram right now. I want to continue my Instagram channel and push it a little bit, so make sure you go ahead and follow me there. But I did a story with the BlackBerry Key 2 and BlackBerry Classic, and I had you guys decide which one you like better. And actually, most votes for now were for the BlackBerry Classic, but I'm excited on how that goes. And that got me to the question, what happened to BlackBerry? For everybody who doesn't know me, this channel was actually about BlackBerry solely. So we had all the BlackBerry phones, we did reviews, solutions, and when support for BlackBerry 10 died more and more, I actually provided solutions to get WhatsApp going on the phones again, and so on and so forth. So I have a pretty good understanding about BlackBerry, and it's weirdly enough a passion of mine. And still to this day, the company and the brand is something very special to me, because without BlackBerry, this channel would not exist. So what happened to BlackBerry? Well, after the Key 2 was released, I actually did a quite disappointing review about this phone because I didn't really like it at the time, and I switched to an iPhone. That was already, I think, like 3 or 4 years ago. But what happened actually to BlackBerry? So back in the day, you probably know that BlackBerry was very, very popular, and everybody who thought he's important and he worked at a pretty important job had a BlackBerry. It was one of the first smartphones that was ever released, of course without touchscreen, but the keyboard just made it so much easier to write emails and access the internet. And of course access services that are connected to the internet. And nobody else did that at the time. So it was only clear that BlackBerry got a reputation for themselves, a good reputation, and that they were very, very popular, and they made good money. But then in 2007, when the iPhone was released, they did not really get the hang of the new smartphones and the new era that was just rolling out. And nobody really believed in the iPhone really being successful, and they just kept going with their BlackBerry smartphones. I think at the time, not long after that release, the BlackBerry Bold 9900 was released, some years after the release of the iPhone. But they did very interesting phones back in the day. They had like a phone that had a touchscreen that was actually clickable, so that was kind of weird, but they couldn't really get the hang of it. But that was until BlackBerry 10 was released. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was also the time when BlackBerry did not call themselves, as the company that invented it, Research in Motion, so RIM, but they called themselves BlackBerry Limited. And that was also around the time they invented BlackBerry 10, their own OS, and their own phones that were running this OS. And BlackBerry 10 was really ahead of its time. It had great gesture controls, it had a great notification system. The problem just was that there weren't any apps that you could use with that operating system. There were quite a number of phones that were released with BlackBerry 10. It was the BlackBerry C30, the Q10 for example. I think they also had a Q5, which was like the less expensive version of the Q10. They had the BlackBerry Classic, and so on and so forth. So they did have quite a number of phones, and eventually they actually supported Android apps. So you were able to install Android APKs, but it was getting more and more difficult to get those apps running. For example, WhatsApp stopped working natively on the BlackBerry 10 operating system, so we had to use a workaround to use the Android WhatsApp on BlackBerry 10, and that kind of worked. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. It was just a lot of work. And just recently, BlackBerry actually ended support for BlackBerry 10 and called it end of life and shut down the servers, which is very, very sad. But after BlackBerry 10, even though a lot of people were still using BlackBerry 10, they introduced their first Android phone, their first smartphone that was running Android. and that was a Blackberry Priv. And actually I won a BlackBerry Priv because I was BlackBerry Fan of the Month. That has to be like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And I actually won that phone. It was very innovative. It was like a sliding phone that had a keyboard. It was like the Nokia phones that were sliders. It had a big curved touchscreen and a keyboard. The sad thing was, it wasn't that nice. It wasn't very fast. The keyboard wasn't very nice, which was kind of bad for a BlackBerry. It was just too thin and not very tactile. And it just didn't work well after that. And then I think they had a couple of phones after that, which was the DTEK 60, DTEK 50. But I think the phones that really deserve a mention are the Blackberry Key 1, which was like the first Android phone again with a keyboard by BlackBerry. And that was a great phone. I love that phone. It worked so nicely. I used it exclusively and I just loved the phone. So I was equally excited when they announced this, the Blackberry Key 2. Another Android phone. It was supposed to be faster, it has a better camera, and so on. And actually, I love the design of this phone. It's amazing. I think it looks even better than some iPhones that you can buy, but I just didn't like it. I felt like it was a step back from the Key 1, and I stopped using it. And sadly, my frustration made me buy this, an iPhone 13 mini, and back in the day it was a 12 mini, and also this, a 12 Pro, which I use for business. Still excited for new BlackBerry phones, of course. I did end this channel because of that, but I was still excited for new phones, and there was actually hope new phones were going to be released. Actually, well, the last phones that BlackBerry offered were released not by BlackBerry but by TCL, which were able to release phones under the name of BlackBerry because BlackBerry focuses on software now, on security software. They released the 2 phones, but they stopped doing that, and then another company came in and wanted to release a 5G BlackBerry, and the hopes were very high for that phone, that the story just continues, but sadly BlackBerry also cut off that service. So maybe in the future there will be another BlackBerry device, but for now it doesn't look too good, to be honest. Well, there were companies or products that were restarted from the past. But I think for now, in the near future, we won't see any new BlackBerry. There are great alternatives out there. There are actually phones getting released with a keyboard, but I just don't think they feel like the BlackBerry, and they don't have that fan base around them and so on. So I decided that I wanted to feel that BlackBerry enthusiasm again, and I decided to use the BlackBerry Key 2 again for 1 week in today's world. So I swapped my private iPhone 13 mini and used this for it, the BlackBerry Key 2, and see how it performs in today's world in the year of 2023. Of course, this phone is already old. It was released, I think, in 2018, so a solid 5 years, but it doesn't look like it. And maybe it's not that bad. And of course, I'll take you on the journey with me. I'll film several short videos throughout the week on situations that occur, problems I may stumble upon, and so on. But let's see, maybe it's going to be perfectly smooth and perfectly fine. But you'll be part of it. So in next week's video, we will actually discuss on how my experience was using the BlackBerry Key 2 in 2023. So if you're excited for it, make sure you hit the subscribe button on this channel, and also make sure to follow me on my social media channels. You'll see them right now. And also there will be, I think, 2 recommended videos at the end of this video that you can click on. And also make sure to comment in the comment section below on your thoughts, because I'm really interested in if you think that BlackBerry will release a new phone in the near future, or maybe in the future that is more far away. So let me know in there. Okay, it was nice seeing you all, and I hope we see us in the next video again. Bye bye.